Good morning, folks. Greetings from Alberta. The sun's just coming up over the horizon. This is the time of day I like to go for a walk. Gives me hope. I haven't been sleeping real good lately. A lot of things on my mind, probably like a lot of you. But I like to get up before the sun and watch it come up and remind me that there's always hope. But I must say I'm getting a little concerned from what I see. Well, my last video was about a month ago, and I had mentioned about the coming fuel shortages, food shortages, the conflict manufactured by politicians that divides Canadians. And a month later, looking around the world, it seems like I was right. I'm not happy about being right. This isn't a I told you so. But I just try to help at least somebody. Not many people see these videos, but if even one person gets prepared or goes outside and stands up for freedom or stands up for their family or their job, then mission accomplished, you know? But boy, is it concerning. What I'm really losing sleep over is, well, it looks like potentially hundreds of thousands of Canadians are about to lose their jobs, maybe more, in all kinds of industries, who are not going to be forced to take these drugs that they're being forced into everybody. And they're not working as intended. We're talking nurses and doctors and firefighters and paramedics and correctional officers and people in all kinds of industries, including my own. This could affect me. I could lose my job here soon. And yeah, I had a pretty scary discussion at work the other day. I won't say with who or where I work, but I had mentioned to someone about how society is closing in and people are being forced to take drugs that aren't properly tested and nobody is legally responsible for. And the person just shrugged their shoulders and said, well, just take the vaccines. And I had mentioned about informed consent, which is the way things are supposed to be when it comes to medical procedures. And we don't seem to have either right now. I mean, there's so much information being suppressed about side effects and hospitalizations and everything. We've all seen the videos of scientists and doctors and Project Veritas, and we're not being told the truth. So that's the informed part. We're not properly informed. And the second part of that is consent. Where's the consent? People are being threatened in multiple ways, whether it's losing your job or not being able to go to a restaurant or whatever. And regarding that, with all these rules and everything, I feel bad for business owners. I understand they have to do what they have to do. But these people need to understand something. Someone like me, I want to support business. I'd rather go to a small mom and pop shop rather than go to Walmart. But what these restaurants and bars and places need to realize is we don't need them. I haven't been to a restaurant in 2 years. I don't need to go to a restaurant. We don't need these people. They need us. And I'm not going to go support a business that discriminates against my fellow Canadians, whether it's race, religion, sexuality, medical status, or anything. And it's getting to the point where they're getting caught lying. Like, what was really odd to me was, I think it was this week or last week, where Alberta government announced $2,000 to any business who would like it for help getting legal advice or perhaps legal representation when it comes to mandates and probably firing employees. And I just find that odd. Like, why do you need to get legal representation if what you're doing is correct? And in the last week, the most terrible news I've heard in a while is the politicians and media across Canada used the death of a 14-year-old boy who had stage 4 brain cancer and sadly was on his deathbed, and they had said he had died from COVID. And that was a straight up lie. And they got caught. And I wonder how often that happened. How many people died with COVID, but not from COVID. And I'm not saying COVID's not real, because I know it's real. Like, I know people who have had it. In fact, I know more fully vaccinated people at this point who have gone to the hospital than unvaccinated. It's at least 3 or 4 right now. The other day, conducting business, I called a customer of mine, and he answered the phone from the hospital. And he told me him and his wife were both rushed in to emergency, and that his wife was in a worse situation than he was. So of course, I hope you're okay, and forget about business. You got to be a human first. But his exact words to me were, we were rushed to hospital, and we're both fully vaccinated. What the fuck do you think about that? And I went, yeah, I hear you. And, we've had AHS cut beds, and there's nurses leaving, and now they're going to fire thousands and thousands of people across the country, potentially millions. And they blame unvaccinated people, even though fully vaccinated people are also spreading and going to the hospital. And if you look around the world, there is little nuggets of truth, where you see like reports out of Singapore where 52% of people in hospital are fully vaccinated. Or you see reports out of Israel where 60% of people are fully vaccinated. Or I even saw a report, the west of Scotland has a increase of 25% in heart attacks. And they just don't know why. Okay. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I worry for our country. I worry for our world. And when these things are implemented, it's going to be hard to get rid of them. Do we leave this for our children to fight? Do we leave it for their children to fight? And let me be clear, when I say fight, I don't mean violence. I just mean standing up, going outside, standing up for yourselves, your families, your jobs. I could lose my job here any day, and I accept that. We will cross that bridge when we get to it. But this is more important than paychecks. There's right and wrong. There's good and evil. And it's time for Canadians to do what we need to do is right. I'm so proud to see people standing up all around the world, in Canada, Calgary, all across the world, in all countries. Europe, they're going bananas. Look at Australia. They're beating their people. The police there have betrayed their people. They beat up old women and pepper spray them in the face. They've basically made protesting illegal. What they do is they grab you on some trumped up charge, but it's the bail conditions that get you. So they can get you the second time even worse. And if we don't do something, we're going to have our own little Australia here. So, I don't know. There's no point in talking about politics in Canada, because there's that 18 or 20% that's going to vote Liberal no matter what Trudeau does. He could literally go on TV punching a puppy, saying, I'm going to tax you into death, and I'm going to take away your freedoms, and call you a racist, and people go clap their hands as he puts shoe polish on his face. I don't get it. But it's just an early morning talk with an early morning walk. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling people to wear a mask or take a vaccine or not. Go talk to your doctor about that. But we're not being told the truth. And what's coming down the pipe for Canada is not good. I bet you the numbers of, they say, that are fully vaccinated is lower than what we're told. I bet the COVID deaths that are reported, or the real ones, are lower than what's reported. I bet the side effects of these vaccines are underreported. So the numbers are all fudged and skewed, and they're taking away your freedoms based on inaccurate and dishonest numbers. So, just my thoughts. I hope everyone's well, be safe, and if you don't want to do anything and you don't want to stand out, maybe one day they come for you, or me, or your kids. I hope not. Maybe it's time we take on the fight so they don't have to. Because we're losing. But we don't have to. Have a good day and take care. Be safe.